Hi, folks. How are you? This is day one of my video diary uh, associated with my ayahuasca trip and experience. So I'm heading to LA today, and I'm going to spend a couple of days there before I then fly down to Costa Rica and go to the Rhythmia Ayahuasca Resort. Excuse me. I'm really excited. Some people think there's a lot of people very excited for me, but a lot of people are very worried for me, which I find interesting because I don't find anything scary about what I'm about to do. I find it extremely exciting. How it came about, I only booked about 2 months ago, but I will say earlier this year, when this year turned around, I find it hard to explain, but I felt different inside. I felt like I was going to have some internal changes take place this year. And I had this feeling that it was going to require a lot of changes within me and my lifestyle. And I made my first change around Easter when I gave up alcohol. I love cocktails. I really like alcohol. I didn't, these last few years, I certainly haven't abused it. Perhaps in my 30s, I abused it. However, I just know deep down inside me that alcohol is of the same frequency as lower vibrations. And so if it's my true intent to raise my vibrations or increase my soul consciousness, then it is something that I just have to give away. I have to let go of. Because a lot of these things that we desire, we enjoy, we think about, we get that are associated with our senses are things that have been designed to keep us trapped in our lower nature. Our lower nature is the nature of the senses. And I've really come to learn that this year in more ways than one. And so when I stopped drinking alcohol, it wasn't like I was planning it and I thought, okay, as of this date, there'll be no more. When shifts happen within me, because I've had a few over the decades, and when they happen in me, they happen overnight. It's something I think a little bit about, but not too much about. It's almost like I visualize myself as the change already happened. And then eventually my actions catch up with the vision. It's the best way I can describe it. And so I had always liked the idea of being someone who didn't drink alcohol and being okay going out without even having one or two. And yeah, I woke up one day and I kind of just knew I wasn't going to drink alcohol again. This feeling actually happened to me in my early 30s too, when I gave up smoking. The same thing happened. I wanted to be a non-smoker. I visualized myself as a non-smoker. I didn't think too much or fight too hard at giving up. And then one day I just naturally woke up and I went, something's changed. I don't think I'm going to smoke again. And I didn't. So I like it when these things happen. It makes change a little easier. So anyway, that was the thing with alcohol. And so once I gave away alcohol, the funny thing was when I gave up alcohol, I actually didn't have to get rid of it out of my house. Over the years when I've sort of been on non-alcoholic alcohol periods, like if I've been trying to get fit or lose weight, typically I have to get all the alcohol out of the house so I'm not tempted. This time around, I didn't have to do that, and I've still got a full bar sitting there and all my favorite drinks sitting there, which I like. I like the idea that I'm not a slave to that craving anymore or that desire anymore. It's like I'm in charge. So it's pretty cool. I like it. And so as the year progressed, I went through like a mini sort of dark night of the soul thing where I had some, things come up inside me that really affected me emotionally and badly. I'm not someone that reacts much to things that happen around them. But I was judging people really harshly and like taking offense to things that I would not normally take offense to. It was like I had all of a sudden become like this really highly sensitive person. I didn't know how to. It was really weird. I did a lot of crying. I was, crying every day and, crying because like I felt like I wasn't loved and I felt lonely and nobody cared. And it wasn't any of that. It was all just, I think, repressed emotions from over the decades that, and we all have them. We all have repressed emotions inside of us from experiences that we've had that we haven't wanted dealt with. Like we go through an experience and it's an uncomfortable experience or it makes you sad. And so you stuff it back down inside you and then you distract yourself. And by distracting yourself, you think you got through it and you think you got over it, but you didn't. It's still in there. So I went through that. I did a lot of meditating, a lot of soul searching, a lot of research, a lot of reading, different, spiritually based books. And I kind of worked through that and it was good. It was a good experience. I've done a whole lot more meditating this year. And then ayahuasca, I've always known about ayahuasca, never really wanted to do it, but never really felt inclined to do it. Let's put it that way. Never known anyone personally that had done it. Liked the idea of it, but what happens, the only thing I knew about ayahuasca was that you had to go into like the rainforest. Like there was no like proper luxury type retreat resort. Well, there probably is, but I just didn't know anyone that had been to one. So, I had known about ayahuasca over the years, was certainly curious about it. And then then ayahuasca came across my path this year. And I saw a documentary with that was produced by a couple of people I know of, and their experience, the documentary was really good, and their experience was great, and they're very well balanced people. They are entrepreneurs and they work in the spiritual metaphysical industry, and that led me to just checking out a few more testimonials online and looking at the different retreats on offer now. And anyway, all of a sudden I couldn't stop thinking about ayahuasca. And the group, the couple that I watched their first documentary, they in their business and I guess their group of customers, they had announced that they were going back this year and that anyone could come along with them. They weren't going to be charging for any services. They're going for their own personal needs. But if anyone felt like they wanted to go at the same time, they could. And then and it would also allow them to help with the integration afterwards. And so when I found that out, I looked at the place they were going at and when they were going, and I got so excited. I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I just booked it straight away. I think I took a week to think about it. So yeah, and that was in July, I think, July or August. And now I'm going today. So very, very excited. I think that's all I've really got to tell you about. This was a little longer than I thought. Oh, it's about 10 minutes. I can't do short videos. But yeah, I've got a plane trip to LA, which I'm really excited about. Love being on a plane. I'm going to really sit down and think about some of the things I want to get out of ayahuasca. Ayahuasca is plant medicine, and the spirit of the ayahuasca tree is a feminine spirit. And so you'll probably hear me talk a lot about, over the next few videos, a lot about the spirit of, I'll probably be talking about Mama Ayahuasca, or I'll be referring to her as a female or a she or a her. And that's because the spirit is feminine. And that's the spirit, when you drink the plant medicine, that's the spirit that comes in and speaks to you and works with you and uncovers, different things and teachings and lessons that you're supposed to know. I'm going for a spiritual experience. Let's put it that way. I'm going for some advanced spiritual growth. I want to go places internally that I haven't been before. And when I say internally, I'm talking about different dimensions within myself. And I want to connect with different levels of spirit to increase my soul consciousness. So my soul consciousness is almost like my higher self, who essentially, from my perspective, is connected to me but lives outside of my energy field right now. And the more I raise my frequency to a higher vibration, which is, more soul conscious, more loving, more compassion for all people, good and bad, the higher I raise my frequency, the more my high self can integrate into my soul right now, or my spirit on this earth plane. So my whole intention is to give access for my higher self to integrate, to not so much lower her frequency, but to meet me in a place where we can integrate and assimilate. And that way I can get teachings directly from my higher self in a more conscious manner. So that's my main purpose for doing, or my main reason for doing ayahuasca. But I've tried not to have too many expectations, and that's because Mother Ayahuasca could have something completely different in store for me. And this is known to happen. So we might want something, right? But there may be another agenda that has to happen first before I get what I want. So that's what we'll find out over the coming 2 weeks. And just be mindful too that, I do 3 or 4 ayahuasca ceremonies, and I'm going to do video recordings after each ceremony. But the revelations and what you learn doesn't necessarily happen in those 4 days. There is a lot of integration period that happens afterwards. And that integration and how you process that information that you come to learn or know can take 6 months, 12 months, 2 years. It's different for each individual, from what I've been told or from what I've learned. Anyway, that's it. Shit, we're on 15 minutes now. Thank you for, if you've been listening to me, I love you very much and wish me well. Thanks. Bye for now.